Well, Razorback fans, guess what? You won again on the road against Texas for 2 in a row. Feeling pretty good. So let's talk about it on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Inside Arkansas Live, which you can catch every weekday starting at noon on Inside Arkansas and InsideArkansas.com. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday, and if you are a Razorback basketball fan, you're absolutely having one, as the Razorbacks go down to Austin and beat the Texas Longhorns by a final score of 78-70. Now, if you just see that score, you're like, hard-fought game and everything. Arkansas was actually up at one point by 23 points in this game. 23 points they were up. But Texas made a run at the end, got some things going, and, of course, had to make it interesting. It can never be too easy for the Razorbacks. But they at least, got it done. A win is a win is a win, and I am never going to be someone who complains about that or anything. Because, again, these are times where you can't afford to win with style points. You just need to win. And so, what a performance, though. What a gritty performance. Arkansas did so many good things here. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what the future looks like a little bit, and also talk about some of the officiating, because that was something of note. But without question, Nellie Davis is the guy. He was the guy. I'm hoping that this is a constant from him. I'm hoping that he has finally broke loose and that we can expect him to be that guy each and every time. 24 points for Nellie Davis. He goes 7 of 15 from the field, 4 of 8 from three-point land, hits all of his free throws, has 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, and only 1 turnover in 39 minutes of play. The dude was awesome. Just straight up awesome. That's the Nellie Davis that everyone was hoping to see, that we expected to see, that we wanted to see. There's that man. And it just was an incredible performance out of him once again. Adu Thiero, who apparently is battling illness again. This guy's sicker than anybody I've ever seen on a basketball court. But didn't matter. He had 14 points in this game in only 22 minutes. Had some incredible dunks, man. This dude's so freakishly athletic, it's not even funny. So had some incredible dunks out of him. He did foul out of the game, which, again, we'll talk about in a little bit. But got 14 points on 4 or 5 shooting. Hit 6 of 12 from the free throw line, so don't want to see that many missed free throws. But got 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block shot. So another good performance by DJ Wagner as far as being out there on the floor. He missed quite a few shots. He went 4 of 13, but did get 13 points, 4 rebounds there, or 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and did have 3 turnovers. So, again, not the best effort, but still, you needed him in some of those positions, and especially for some of those passes. Big Z shot the ball a lot more than I thought he would, but went 4 of 10 from the field. Had 12 rebounds, though. He had 9 points. He was 1 short of his first double-double in SEC play, so hated to see that, but actually had 4 block shots. So was definitely being a defense maker down there. Trevin Brazile, 3 points. He went 1 of 3. I always said he goes 2 of 3, but he only went 1 of 3 in this one. So hated to see that, but still, he did his thing in just a few minutes of play. And Carter Knox is someone also played 36 minutes and had 9 points, hit all 6 of his free throws, so that was clutch. And only was 1 of 2 from the field, and one of the one shot he made was a three-pointer out of him. So Arkansas, 14 assists to 9 turnovers. Not too bad. Wanted to see the assists go up there. But, again, just solid. Missed too many layups, too. That was another thing, too. Arkansas missed way too many layups in that. But I'm not here to complain. I'm not here to take issue. Texas was awful for the most part, especially in the first half. When Arkansas got up big first half and then even into the second half in the beginning, Texas was so bad. They looked frustrated. They looked distraught. They looked out of sorts. They looked like they were just all over the place. They only hit 34% of their field goals, 27% from their threes. They made a furious comeback. I think they cut it to as little as 4 or 5 points. which was, again, not exactly ideal and didn't want to have anything happen that way, but it's what it is. And Arkansas weathered the storm. They weathered the storm. Former Razorback Tremont Mark had an awful game for him. 0 points. 0 points, 0 of 2 from the field. Just wasn't getting it done. But, this is the type of thing, though, folks. This is the type of game that you're excited about. And anytime that you can go down and beat Texas in any sport, it's always huge. But Texas is not a bad team. Not a bad team by any stretch. They're a team that's been in the tournament talk. I'm not saying that they're a great team, but then in tournament talk. They're now sitting at 4-6 in conference play, but they've had a few quality wins. They did beat Missouri. They did beat Texas A&M. So they do have that on their resume. And they played close games against Auburn and Tennessee. As I try to mention, it's like they only lost to Auburn by 5 and then lost to Tennessee by 4. Now I say only, and that, it doesn't matter because you still lost the game. But the point is that those were really close games against really high-quality opponents. Even when they went on the road to Ole Miss, they only lost by 3. So this was a team that was capable of beating you. This was a team that was capable of going in. In fact, if you look at it, Texas had won 3 of their last 4 games, with the one loss being the 3-point loss to Ole Miss on the road. So it's not like you caught a team dead to rights or dead in the water that didn't care or was out of it or whatever. You went in and you took care of business. And you did it in their place on their home court. And now you got 2 in a row. Honestly, I know I keep going back to it. Golly, that Oklahoma game looks so bad now. It should be 4 in a row. You should be riding, but you're slowly and surely getting back. And as of right now, you're going to be in the NCAA tournament talk, which we'll talk about a little bit. But you got a team in the Alabama Crimson Tide coming up on Saturday, a team that has not played this week. They've just been getting focused in and getting ready for you. The game time actually moved to 7:30. It was at 7, now it's 7:30, so another late game for Arkansas and Alabama there on Saturday night. But they're going to be the number 3 team in the country, and you're going to have to play your A game and all of that. But the fact that I'm starting to have a little bit of confidence, and you as a fan, I'm hoping you probably, or at least you should, be having a little bit more confidence now that this team could do something, maybe make some noise, maybe be in the NCAA tournament discussion, maybe even pull off an upset against Alabama. Those are the things that I've missed. I've missed that confidence. I've missed that feeling of being able to have swagger once again. It doesn't matter what happened before, you have it now. And as long as Nellie Davis, does what he does and this team continues to gel, and Adu Thera, hopefully he's healthy and feeling better by that point, as long as he's doing those things, it's all going to come together nicely. It's all going to come together perfectly for you, and it's going to be the way that it needs to be. You still have some very winnable games on your schedule. Very winnable games. But you took care of your business against Texas. And I'll say that, people could be frustrated by random things of how the game went, Arkansas giving up the big lead, or whatever it is. But my whole theory behind it all is that if you're a team that is still going to try to do something in the tournament or get to the tournament in this league in the SEC, which is so good, is outstanding, it doesn't matter how you play. It just matters that you win. And now you won. So celebrate it, enjoy it, because it seems like you're in the, I'll call it the driver's seat, but you're definitely in position to make the NCAA tournament once again. And man, how sweet it is. How sweet it is to have that feeling once again. But we'll talk about that here in just a little bit, so stay with us here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, Razorback fans, you're looking for tickets for your next big event, or you're trying to get to that Arkansas-Alabama game coming up on Saturday. Well, whether it's a concert, comedy show, or a sports game like that one, you need to find the right ticket at the right place, which, let's be honest, it can be a headache when you're trying to do that. But with Game Time Picks, it's never been easier. So let me tell you how it works. With Game Time Picks, the app does all the hard work for you. It curates the best deals so you don't have to waste time searching through endless ticket listings and prices. I've been using Game Time Picks for a while now, and here's why I love it. The curated deals make it super simple to find all the great tickets at a great price. No more sitting through thousands of options or anything like that. And I recently grabbed the super deal myself. I checked it out, and I got the best deal possible in a place that, honestly, I didn't think the tickets would be that cheap for. It's that great. And the best part, you're covered with Game Time's lowest price guarantee. If you can find a better deal somewhere else, they'll refund you at 110% of the difference. Plus, your tickets are somewhat guaranteed, if you want to say it that way, to be delivered on time. And with easy cancellation options, if something comes up, they make it so easy for you. So if you're ready to make your next event better, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, so moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Arkansas in the NCAA tournament? Really? Yeah, really. The net rankings, which is essentially the main place that the NCAA tournament committee and everybody's going to be looking at when it comes to who they're putting into the NCAA tournament. That's the rankings you need to watch. Now, you can look at bracketologists like Joe Lenardi and all that, which I respect a whole lot. There's some other ranking systems too. But to have Arkansas sitting at 47th as of last night, and it's going to be only moving up after that win against Texas in the Quad 1, it's legitimate. It's legitimate to start talking about this team being in the NCAA tournament conversation. Because if you also think about it, Arkansas is now 3-3 in Quad 1 games. Or excuse me, no, not 3. They're going to be 3-7 in Quad 1 games, but 3-3 on road games. So they're climbing it. They're climbing it the right direction. And there was a few teams in front of you that ended up losing tonight, like a Vanderbilt, for instance, that you could jump ahead of. An Oklahoma, which it's amazing that Oklahoma is still ahead of you in that. But, they could drop down a little bit. There's still a lot of time and a lot of maneuverability. But if Arkansas is able to get to the NCAA tournament, they're at least in a good position with their net ranking where it stands. And also to throw into the fact that Arkansas and the rest of their schedule essentially are all Quad 1 games at this point in time. You think about Alabama this weekend, obviously a Quad 1 game. LSU is considered a Quad 2 game. That one's at home and should be a game you win. Should be. You have to. But at Texas A&M, Quad 1. At Auburn, we know that's a Quad 1. Missouri, Quad 1 at home. Texas at home, probably be a Quad 1. At least it was. We'll see what it looks like then. But then a Quad 2 on the road against South Carolina. Quad 1 against Vanderbilt on the road. And Mississippi State at home is a Quad 1. So the point is that you have plenty of opportunities in games to move up your net ranking and to move up your style points and everything that goes along with it. You're in a good position for that. But here's what I am going to look at it, because you're probably saying you're putting the cart before the horse. You're talking too much about the tournament. They got too much work to go on in front of you. And I get it, and I understand it, and I respect it. I can see that, yes, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. It's not just so simple. They still have plenty of things they need to take care of. However, if this team was able to make it to the NCAA tournament, considering where they started, starting off 0-6 or 0-5 in conference play, I guess I should say, and having the rough start that they did, to me, I think it would be one of the best jobs that John Calipari has done as a coach. Now, some of you will be like, oh, wait. He won a national championship. He did all this. He did all that. He had this team that went undefeated up into the Final Four, blah, blah, blah. You're right. And I'm not going to argue with you if you want to use those as examples. But how many times have we seen it, and this is the key. How many times have we seen a Cal basketball team when he was at Kentucky where they started off not great, they really started struggling in SEC play, and they just threw in the towel? I'm not talking about, they lost a game or two and then they got going. No, I'm talking about teams where it was just bad. It was a bad situation. I've seen it a couple times. The year that they went to the NIT, that team was not great. The team back in the COVID year of 2021, they went 8-9, I think, 9-8 in SEC play, didn't make the tournament. They were bad. In a lot of those cases, they just kind of let go of the rope a little bit, or it was just already determined, hey, this team's not it. This team's not going to be getting it done. But not this team. if they're able to turn it around. And you think about the type of momentum that you would have for this team turning it around and getting to the point that they need to get to with the NCAA tournament, all of that. That, my friends, would be heck of coaching. That would be a incredible type of feat for anybody, but especially somebody like Cal, because it's a motivational thing. Think about the motivation that he has had to ride through, that he's had to go with and roll through. People have been saying he's cooked, he's overrated, he's out of touch, he's past his prime, all of those things. And then when the team started struggling, he had to hear it and continue to hear it and to turn it all around and get motivated to roll on back. I don't care what anybody says. I was one that was very critical of this Razorback basketball team, 100%. And I'm still going to own that. I was. And it wasn't coming from a place of nowhere. There was reasons why I was extremely disappointed and extremely upset with the way things were going. I don't think that's a bad thing to feel like in that moment, because everybody felt that same way. So I don't want to hear anybody who's, if Arkansas makes this tournament, to be like, oh, but you were so negative about him. Yeah, I was. But just like this team, things change. This team has changed. This team has been able to develop a little bit of confidence, start playing a lot better together, and obviously the emergence of a Nellie Davis offensively. Those are the things that we kept hoping for, kept wanting to see, but they kept not happening. I mean, losing some of the games in the fashion of the way the Razorbacks did lose them was just atrocious and disgusting. So they have to be able to put themselves in a good position to at least fight for that, to at least feel great about it, to at least get it done. And for Cal to do this in the way that he's done it, knowing what he's going up against each and every game, and knowing that this is the toughest time, this is the toughest the SEC has ever been. Because that's another thing I want to throw in as far as my vote for why this is his best coaching job. He's doing it when he got put behind the 8 ball from the get-go, from the jump, being 1-6 in conference play, to bam, in the toughest conference, back into the tournament. That's why I think it would be one of the best jobs that he's ever done in coaching. Now, they still got a lot of work to do. I'm trying to make sure everyone understands that, and that I know I understand that. They have work to do. This is not over. They can't lay eggs against teams that they should. I mean, I'm not expecting them to beat Alabama this Saturday. It'd be really great and nice, but I can't expect that. But what you can expect is you can't expect this team to go out and in the games that they are supposed to win, or the games that it's a 50-50 deal or whatever it is, that they can go and perform the way that they're supposed to and get out of there with wins. This team's fearless right now. They just went on the road in 2 tough environments and beat 2 teams that were really good. They did that. Well, Kentucky may not be so good. Yikes. But you know what I'm saying. They have an opportunity to do that. If they beat Bama, if they freaking beat Alabama on Saturday in Bud Walton Arena, the number 3 team in the country, man, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that person. I may do something stupid. Well, maybe not too stupid, but you know what I'm saying? I'll get crazy with it. So, what a game. What a win. What a time. Let's keep this going. Let's feel good about it. Don't give up. Don't take your foot off the gas. Step on the throat and finish the season and get to the NCAA tournament where anything is possible. I do want to bring up the officiating because I have to. We'll do that here in a second. So stay with us here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, all you Razorback fans out there, the big game is almost here. I know you know the big game. And there's no better way to make it even more exciting than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With over 10 million members and billions in winnings awarded, Prize Picks makes it fun and simple to get in on the action. Here's how it works. You pick more or less on at least 2 players' projections, and if you're right, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks even has a free pick in the big game with Patrick Mahomes, and when he only needs to throw 1 yard to win. Pair that with one more correct pick, and you're cashing out. This week, I'm looking at the board, and I'm trying to see, okay, what about Travis Kelce and the receiving yards? And more for quarterback's passing yardage. well, what I love the most is fast and safe withdrawals. So that way when I win, my cash is in my account in as little as 15 minutes. It's that simple. So be sure to check it all out of all the different deals that you can get and all the great things you can have with Prize Picks. And download the app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, so final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Okay, I'm going to talk about the officiating for one. It was bad in this game with Arkansas and Texas. There was a total of, if I did my math correctly, 47 fouls called. This game lasted way too long. It was an 8 p.m. game as it is. That's why I'm recording this freaking thing at midnight because how long this game lasted. It was disgusting. But the deal is that the foul discrepancy between the halves. In the first half, Arkansas did not get called for as many fouls, but I felt like that was pretty fair. But Texas got called for, I believe it was 11 fouls in the first half. So it's 5-11. Not too crazy. But in the second half, man. 13 fouls Texas ended up getting called for compared to Arkansas's 18 fouls. Now, you hear that, and you're like, well, hold on a second, is that big of a difference? Well, please note that the majority of Texas's fouls came towards the end of the game. And some of these fouls, and even ones on Texas, but a lot of them on Arkansas were disgusting. The Adu Thero fouls, a few of them there were terrible. The Big Z foul call was terrible. And it's almost like it was the most blatant and obvious thing of like, oh, well, we called it one way in this half, but we got a talking to, so now we got to call it this way in the second half. I'm just asking for consistency. They would allow a lot of physical play, a lot of hand checking and stuff, but then like they would call something that when someone went to the rack, they'd breathe on them a certain way, and then boom, they give them the points and give them the foul. It was just extremely frustrating to watch, and I hate watching basketball games like that. Again, I'm not going to complain because Arkansas won, and I'm not saying that all the calls against Arkansas were wrong. It's just there's got to be some consistency in this, and nobody wants to watch a game like that. And I'm sorry, there was a lot more physicality being thrown around from Texas in that second half than Arkansas, but yet Arkansas is the one that got called for more fouls. It doesn't make any sense. I wish there was a gold standard. I wish there was a way to hold people accountable for this stuff. But it just doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. So I'm just going to sit here and complain about it. I'm going to continue to complain about it, even though there's nothing I can do about it. But that's okay because that's just what I'm going to do. Fair? Fair. Well, either way, appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at John Nabors Show for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have, and we will keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.